Terms of technology, the industry is still on course for an electric, connected, autonomous future. Both OEMs, tier suppliers investing increasing amounts in developing the appropriate components, systems, vehicle architecture. Wow. When it comes to electric vehicles, sales are lagging in every market in the world. That's going to change. Hey, what's up, ecosystem? How you guys doing? Do you know what goes into the data of a VIN? Tonight, we're going to talk to DataOne software. It's time to dive in and go beyond the VIN. So you're going to want to tune in, buckle in. That's the interview. That's the live panel. It's Tuesday nights live on Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host. Welcome back to the show. What's going on, you guys? We made it. It's Tuesday nights live on Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host. Welcome back to the show. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. If this is your first time here, I want you to feel welcome. Let me tell you what's going to happen tonight. We ran the car hauler, and yes, this is a show all about the data of the VIN. There's a lot of information there. There are a lot of businesses interested in this topic, so definitely, I'm glad you're here with me tonight. Before we get into that, I'm going to go into the hello live chat. I got the live chat over here. Please do join the live chat. Let me know where you are, what you're doing, what you're looking for. Please network with other people in the live chat. Share your company products and services. Let us know where you're headed. What show are you going to go to? What are you looking for? We're going to go into industry news. That is a popular segment at the quarter hour where we talk about national news, social media news, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, stuff people are sharing, conversations happening, lots of interesting conversations, some good, some bad. There's a lot of negativity out there, so we're going to talk about that too. Then we're going to go into the information superhighway. We're going to talk about more about the VIN and going beyond the VIN and what that means, because that is going to lead into our main interview tonight, Beyond the VIN, with Mike Benavides of DataOne Software. Really excited to have this interview. And you know what's cool? I originally met Mike at Auto Intel Summit in July of last year. Saw him again at Used Car Week in November, and now he's going to be on the show, and he's going to be at NADA this weekend. So it's all about networking and relationships. We talk about that all the time on this show. It really works, and we're going to talk about that because then we're going to open up the panel, and Mark and Brian of Superflow Systems, they're going to be in the live panel. So the networking moves on, and really what's neat is that Superflow is going to ask some amazing questions of Brian because they understand the level of insight needed to really penetrate the marketplace with that level of data. You know, once you start to mine data, you end up with too much data. So you have to get the right amount of data and know what you're looking for and use that in your business to acquire customers and increase sales and performance. That's the goal. That's what we're talking about tonight. So what I want you to do is I want you to stick around, join the live chat. Please do say hello. We're going to be right back.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verification of loads when nobody answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years of experience in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021. Or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
That's Sue. She's a friend of the show. Contact her, call her, email her, ask her questions about dispatching, brokering. You got a legal question? You can ask Sue. Now, she's not an attorney, can't give you legal advice, but she can give you, there's a lot of questions right now about the legality of dispatching, legality of brokering, what's required, and I think some of the ramifications are ramping up. So you're going to want to get in with somebody you can trust. Contact Sue. She'll give you some solid advice. Let's go into the live chat. Let's say hello. We've got, okay, again, I'm looking over here, so please, help me out. All right, cool. All right, I got Ty in here. Is this where you find cars? Now, Ty has been asking if this is where we find cars for weeks now, because you know what? Still people are asking, where do I find cars? How do I book loads? Do I go to a load board? Do I need a dispatcher? Yeah, actually all of that. And talk to dealers. It may not be popular, and we're not trying to insult anybody. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I have to keep repeating that. Like there's a lot of drivers now that are like, well, Jay, you're not a driver. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what's funny? I talk to brokers, carriers, dealers, people that work at auctions. I'm now talking to folks that work at OEMs. And guess what? You know what? You want to get loads and find cars? Talk to people. That's a good start. Please try it. Okay, Bill of Bad Apples. Hey, wait, what's going on, man? I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, Bill. Means a lot. It is Tuesday night. I'm excited. You're excited. We're back and we're together. This is episode 124. So thank you so much for joining me again on my live YouTube stream. And if you're tuning in on Facebook, thank you so much. The channel lives on YouTube, but we do simulcast on the Facebook also. Kimberly is in the live chat, running the live chat. Thank you, Kimberly. Thanks for sharing the information. Really appreciate all that you do for the channel. Carlos Braxton is here. ACB Logistics, what's up, Carlos? Thanks for tuning in. JF Halling says H. Bill says hey, 2 thumbs up. Thank you. So the video and audio is going well. Thank you very much. Dodd FW, dump the EPA. Well, you know what? Really interesting. No matter who's running the government, it seems like there's just too much. Am I right or am I right? I don't know. Fritz Duval, what's up, Jam Master J? What's up, Fritz? Thank you so much for tuning in, saying hello. Means a lot. Let us know what you're doing and where you're at, and what you need and what you're looking for. Maybe you're just hungry. Maybe you just headed into Stuckey's, you need something to eat. Maybe you're trapped on the fuel island. Maybe you're waiting for your shower. Maybe you're waiting for the customer to call you back. Maybe you're waiting for a better insurance quote. Maybe you're waiting for your truck to finally be ready. Superflow Systems, what's up, Superflow? Hey, man. We're talking car hauling. This is the car hauling business channel, man. Thank you so much. Mark, thanks, Ashley. Okay, good. So we got Ashley, we got Mark. Johannes Burgos, hey, what's up, Johannes? Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Thanks for saying hello. Means a lot. It really does. I want to tell you again, I tell you guys this. I appreciate every like, share, subscribe I get, every comment. I read it. If you're looking for help, I try to get back to you. I really do appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in. Linda Conyers, hey Jay, this is Lionel. Oh, cool. What's up, Lionel? Lionel's an insurance guy, and he's going to be on the show. We got to get together and talk, but I think that's on February 25th. That's great. Listen, if you want to be on the show, right now I'm booking into March and April. That is the last Tuesday in February, and I believe it's booked. But if you want to be on the show, let me know. Company products and services, autotransportintel@gmail.com. Looking forward to tonight's show. Me too, man. Going beyond the VIN. That's some serious stuff. Shaggy's Consulting and Training, Freedom to Learn. What's up, Shaggy? Thanks for tuning in and saying hello. Means a lot. David Lone, good evening from Las Vegas. Awesome, David. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend for NADA. Man, that's going to be crazy. crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Hey, what's up? You know, this is a live show. Anything can happen. I could misspeak. What else we got here? Murphy Auto Transport Information, Tier 1, SMD, what it is. Fast Eddie Transport, yes, another Tuesday Night Live, got the popcorn. Thank you so much, Silver Mint and Fast Eddie Transport. Got your email. Thank you for saying hello. I like getting the emails. I like getting comments on YouTube. And you know what? Sometimes it's negative. And you know what? I take it head on. We had a negative comment last week. Took it head on. He ended up talking to Ty. Got another fan of the show. I love that. And there's some tough comments on Facebook too, man. That's a rowdy crowd on Facebook. Colin Thomas, hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, Colin. I'm undercover, Ty. This is Lina. I'm undercover. Gary, hey, just bought a 2019 Ram 4500. Sweet, dude. Yeah, you should talk to Ty. I always say that. I just say that, like, if anybody starts talking routes and equipment, I'm like, talk to Ty. And they're like, yeah, I just talked to him. I'm like, talk to him again. Mike Bonya, hey, what's up? Mike? Cool, man. Thanks for tuning in, saying hello. That's awesome. Top Trending is with us. Uh-oh. I sense conversations between Top Trending and Sir Transport. Am I right? How are the loads? You know, I was just talking to a dispatcher about the loads, and it sounds like on the load boards in general. Now, winter is a tough time anyways, but it sounds like it's really tough. Like, the load boards are tough. Am I right? Share if that's true, and I'm going to share a couple things in industry news tonight, but let me know where you're looking, what you're looking for. And by the way, have you tried dispatchcenter.com? Get signed up. Sitting in the Cleveland looking for a car, 24 foot enclosed, need to go to Chicago. All right, JD. Thanks for letting me know. That's very specific. Will somebody please open a window from Cleveland to Chicago? And by the way, so you know, you go to your map, right? You don't just look at the city. You got to go into the states, right? You know, so you got Ohio and Indiana, man, and open up Michigan, and obviously the weather. How's, you know, Wednesday here, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow in Kansas City could be a little dicey. So check the weather, of course. But I know, man, loads are tough right now. Plus, if you got an enclosed trailer and you're looking for an enclosed load, I don't know, could be tough, man. I know, you didn't help at all, Jay. David says, what casino is it at? All right, so the NADA show, National Automobile Dealers Association, I think that's right. It's in Vegas. It's at the Las Vegas Convention Center. So it's not in any of the hotels. I'm not exactly sure which hotels that's near. You know, the convention center, it's off the strip. Paradise, Tropicana, maybe. You know, that way people focus on the show, right? I'm going there for the expo. There is a long list of exhibitors, and I'm going there to talk to companies, find out more about their products, services, meet and greet, network. That's why I'm going. Some of the workshops I go to, some of the trade shows I go to have breakout sessions and workshops and learning sessions, but I'm going there to meet people. So if you're going to be at NADA, let me know. Let's hook up. Fast Eddie, thanks to Muzi at Truckify for straightening out my IT problem on the spot. Thank you so much. Hey, that's good to hear, because there's nothing like, you know, too many apps and people that don't answer the phone or get back to you. So good job, Muzi. That's what good support's all about. Larissa Coder says hello. Hey, Larissa, I think that it's your husband that recently contacted us, so thank you so much. What a great show. Well, thank you, Shaggy. Is it worth for small hard just starting back to go to the NADA? So here's the thing. That's a great question, Gary. I'm so glad you asked me that. No, you don't need to go to NADA. You don't. You can. In fact, most of the trade shows I've been to, I don't think that a starting car hauling business will benefit from. And actually, that's one of the reasons I'm going to these shows, because I'm trying to find what's the information that'll benefit the car shipping community at large, car shipping carriers, brokers, dealers, auctions. You know, these trade shows benefit executives mostly, but we talk about business owners and how important good carriers are to the business. I mean, without a good carrier, you don't have anything. And you know what? That's going to surprise some people that I said that, right? You know, people thinking that I'm only interested in the executives and the businesses. No, man. Everybody knows without a good carrier, you don't have transportation. You don't have it. You can't, like, create logistics without people actually moving vehicles. So that's what it's all about. But no, you won't find that at NADA. You'll find networking and contacts as you grow your business. But if you're just starting out, I'll see if I can find the show for you. I'm actually still looking for that show. I'm not sure what that show is. In fact, Ziggy at IATA, he's talking about the same thing. Las Vegas Convention Center is next to Westgate, formerly the Hilton. Thank you, Michael Stevens. I appreciate that. And what's up, Vroom? Am I right? Michael at Vroom? Mark, David, Ty, Travis, when are we going to talk about these terrible rates? Well, we're talking about it right now. We are talking about if you want to talk about terrible rates, let's talk about it. But why are the rates terrible, and what can you do about it? That's what we really need to be talking about. What we've done lately is, here's what I recommend, because I got to go to break and then I got to get an industry news, and we can keep talking about this. But if the rates are bad and the rates aren't getting better, it's time to mix up what you're doing about it. I suggest go to ctsbusinesscoaching.com. Watch some of my other videos about talking to dealers, networking, and improving your business, growing your business. Because if you're just staring at a load board all day, you know what, man? It's time to mix up the business strategy. Here's the deal. I'm going to be right back after this, and then we're going to go into industry news. You're not going to want to miss it.
Hey guys, Ty, CTS Business Coaching. I connect dealers, auctions, and carriers. If you're a dealer and you're not getting your inventory on the lot in 5 days ready to sell, you've got a problem. It's called interest. Like I'm telling you something you don't know. Give me a call. I can connect you with an auction and a carrier, and you can get your cars on the lot in 5 days or less. 417-483-2764. Thanks and have a great day.
All right, so listen, I just read that. I just saw there was Craig. You made another comment on CTS on Facebook. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry the rates aren't better. And you know, here's the thing: is when I started this channel 2.5 years ago, I was going through the rates. I was still dispatching, and I was trying to help search for loads. And you know what? I think there's a better way. So that's something we also talk about on this channel. But right now, and I schedule things out. And I appreciate that, and I want you to stay tuned, and I'll tell you what, here's what I want you to do. Ty, what's your phone number? We just posted it, 417-483-2764. Let's talk rates. How about that? Let's talk rates. 417-483-2764. Did he say that? Did he just post a phone number? That's right. Let's talk rates. 417-483-2764. Ask for Ty. He would love to talk to you about load board rates. Do that, and let's go into some industry news. Let's do that. Okay, by the way, welcome back, everybody, to Auto Transport Intel. I do want to thank you for joining me on Tuesday nights live. Tonight is Beyond the VIN with DataOne software. In about 20 minutes, we're going to be talking to Mike at DataOne. We're going to be going beyond the VIN. What does that mean? What is he talking about? Go beyond the VIN. Well, we are going to talk about it. But for now, it's time to start with a meme. I don't need a better VIN scanner. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. Gee, where have I heard that before? If it fits, it ships. So, based on the tail lights, that guy's not coming at us. He's driving away. That's actually... I don't get it, man. I still don't get it. But you know what? Here's to your... Oh, there you go. ELD Kool-Aid. Here's to your Kool-Aid. Breaking the law. Okay, what else we got here? Any dedicated load boards for vehicle loads? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, there is. Wanting to get started in this business, there is a Toyota manufacturing facility not far from me. Anybody know where to start or who to talk to? And this was posted on Facebook. Here's your responses. You can't. Big companies bid on contracts every year, and then you can read it from there. True enough. Listen, if you're starting out, yes, we do. We say talk to people, but you can't walk into a manufacturing plant and start talking to people. They're going to think you're a tourist. So, recommendation, ctsbusinesscoaching.com. Start smaller than the manufacturing plant. But I like your style. I like the way you're thinking. I really do. You won't get that on Facebook, but I'm saying it here. Central Dispatch is trash and overpriced, underpaid. What other sites out there? Well, now we're talking about rates. All right, well, here's some of the comments. Again, this is Facebook. Man, this is good stuff. Be a man and go get your own customers. CDS fill-in for CD is fill-in work. That's a good point. Now that's weird. I'm a terminal for a carrier with multiple stingers. I've been strictly working off Central Dispatch for 5 years. That is amazing. Don't be a pushover, he says. Man, it's amazing. It runs the gamut. Some people live off Central. I don't know how, but some people do. And you know what? That's great. Although I don't know if it'll continue. Ouch. 10 cents a mile. 7 cars, 1 pick, 1 drop, Colorado to Texas. Yikes. That is pretty low. Here's some more comments. This guy says, couldn't send 7 bicycles down for that price. Good thing is they won't be taking many loads at that price. Whoever takes that figured out perpetual motion. Oh, man. Facebook is interesting. So I looked up the load, and guess what? It was higher when I went to the website. It was double. That's interesting, isn't it? So always check the load board. Go to the load board. But then there were other loads. And you know what? Listen, I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but, this is what the drivers are talking about. If your loads get posted, if you're in the teens and the 20s on cents per mile, drivers are talking about it. And I know, Colorado to Texas, you can give it away, right? I know. I give it still, man. It's pretty low. People are talking about it. And then that's where you get, you could, I don't know, maybe lower it before you drive off. Just saying, just an idea. Okay, so, oh Lord, please help. This is what he says. Look at how many, this is how you know what the drivers are talking. You see all those comments and shares? This was like, I don't know, maybe after an hour. This is what's happening on social media. Hey, good evening, guys. I wonder if there's any shipper's load board where I can get loads as a broker. Any kind of software. Now, I'm trying to contact shippers by searching them in Google. Somebody can help me, please. Would appreciate it. This guy says, wouldn't that be nice? So he's asking if there's any shipper load boards where he can get loads as a broker. Now, this guy said this has to be a joke and go hunt like everybody else. But actually, he's serious. He didn't know. He's new and looking for some advice. So here's the thing. And that's why I like this. Website, search engine, digital advertising. On social media, people are asking honest, beginner questions. And they're getting hammered. So if you're new, don't ask your question on Facebook. Send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. I'm only sharing this because it is brutal. And most people, I'm seeing it on Facebook, they're not trying to help. And I don't know why. It is wild. But this is good marketing. I chose this because this is good marketing. Make some marketing. I told this to somebody the other day. You're having trouble staring at load boards and rates? Make some marketing. Begin networking. And start to make the outbound calls and to try and find business. All right. With so many companies, with so many big and little companies hauling new and used vehicles, which one can you sign on to? Oh, brother. See, here you go. Here you go. Again, he really is asking who he can sign on with. Not of this world. When you find one, let me know. Good luck. Good luck. Send me an email. autotransportintel@gmail.com. Talk to Ty. There are beginners. And I'm not saying it's easy peasy. By the way, you guys know me. This isn't clickbait. I'm not saying you can get rich driving in circles in a parking lot in your pickup truck. But I am saying that I understand that people have questions. So you can ask them here. That's what Auto Transport Intel is for. It's finally time that we have a business channel where we can actually ask questions, whether you're a carrier, broker, auction, OEM, dealer, insurance agent, truck, trailer manufacturer, you name it. People coming from freight, you got a question about car hauling. Why am I showing a truck in the median? It happens. A lot. Here's a rant. I work by myself for myself in Jersey. I do pretty good because I take on loads like bucket trucks. Now, there's a good niche. That's right. Been in business 2 years. My insurance is $20K a year. Then he goes on to talk about how, a trooper gave him a parking brake out of service, and that was enough to jack up his safety rating into the red. And you can't change the name of your company. Ziggy just shared that on Facebook. Somebody got hammered for that. What do you do? Why do things keep heading in the wrong direction? Why is that? I don't know. I really don't know. It seems like it, right? L&R Logistics. Here's a Texas Northern Bankruptcy Court notice. I share this because I saw this. I've been thinking about this for a while now. A lot of drivers talking about brokers screwing them over, not getting paid. I just received a 1099 from LNRS that filed bankruptcy. Thought about how lucky I was to not be part of the bankruptcy. From now on, I am doing customer credit applications. You see that a lot too. People, you've got your accounts payable. And your accounts payable is what you have to pay people. Accounts receivable, and if a third of that is money you're waiting on, that's too much, right? Because your accounts payable is due right now. You got to make those payments, pay the insurance, pay the truck, pay the fuel, etc. So there has to be a better way to get paid. I have a question for you guys. How many brokers do you use to operate your business? Who is your top 3 broker companies that you use? It's a good, honest question. Tough answer, though. That is a tough answer. And if it's only 3, I think it should be like 10, maybe 20. I'm really studying the market for car hauling. I currently broker reefer freight, but I see a market in car hauling. I know 20-plus dealers and want to help connect everybody. And this guy, I like this. It's good, again, good, honest post. I replied, send me an email. Here's what he got. Better stick with what you know. Car hauling is falling apart. I'm a car dealer, want to see all the money go straight to the guy who did the work. I agree with that. Car haulers deserve to get paid. Good luck. Car dealers are inherently cheap. It's in their nature. I say check out Auto Transport Intel. Talk to CTS Business Coaching. Seriously, man. I mean, there's a lot I didn't share. It's like a dog pile. Hey, carriers, you're entitled to make any violation you want. This is the whole point of this. It's Soviet Union. It is interesting that when you go to the FMCSA website, you feel like you've traveled back in time in a DeLorean. It is interesting. Anyways, and then you've got everything's underlined in red lines. Really? Okay. All right, that's okay. Oh, here's more of it. Yeah, I need to update my information. Site's crashing. Hey, breaking news! Green light law. Did you guys see this in New York? This is pretty interesting. Because of New York changes in the DMV and licenses going to, it gets legal, but it basically, I'm trying not to get politically charged on this issue, but because of the lack of DMV standards on licensing in New York, now the Customs and Immigration Export, Customs and Border Protection, CBP, it has halted exports out of New York. What a mess. What a mess. It'd be nice before there are legal changes if several government agencies could get in the loop. I'm just saying. Hey, that brings us to Automotive Logistics Mexico. What a great time to talk about, we need to make sure that Automotive Logistics is trying to help. And they do global conferences. This is an amazing organization. If you're not familiar with Automotive Logistics, go to automotivelogistics.media. Sign up for here, I got it right here. I get their magazine. This thing's awesome. I go to their conferences. We're going to be at their conference in May in North America, in California. But they have them in Europe, etc. Find out more about Automotive Logistics. They focus on finished vehicle logistics, whereas on Auto Transport Intel, we talk a lot about used cars, but still, it is car shipping. It's important. If you want to get the full picture, take it one puzzle piece at a time. United Road, we're fired up to come recruit. Oh, look at that. United Road is hiring. Check that out. You're looking for... I'm not sure what kind of hiring it is, though. It doesn't say, does it? Corporate hiring? Anyways, United Road is hiring. RPM, Fremont work starts now. Hey, there's your phone number. There's your email address. And, yeah, if you got any questions, let them know. Preferred carriers, we need drivers immediately. All right, that's pretty good news. Hey, are you getting email notifications? Here's one from Run Buggy. I got that today. This is the future, right? Stop hunting for loads. Let the loads find you. By the way, did you update your Truckify app? Make sure you do that. Have you seen the CTS Business Coaching video posted a few days ago? Check it out. This one's for... shoot, I've missed a bunch of live chat. I've been talking nonstop. Hey, tonight is Beyond the VIN. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be doing that soon. We're going to go, man, it's not just a VIN number. There is so much information in this data. That's why DataOne Software talks about it. Oh, yeah, you want to learn more? Go to dataonesoftware.com/ATI. Right? This is crazy amounts of information. I realize it could be information overload. You might have to step away from the computer. The thing might catch on fire. NADA is this Saturday. Actually, it starts Friday on Valentine's Day. I'm going Saturday morning. I'll be there. I'm leaving Sunday night. But here you go. You want to see DataOne Software at NADA? Go to booth 3929C, 3929 Charlie. And there's drinks with DataOne at Vidara Saturday night and Sunday night from 5 to 7. Awesome. Awesome. I think that's the final slide. So tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We are going to learn a little bit more about Dispatch Center. We're going to do a brief information superhighway, and then we're going to be back with Mike. Mike, hang on. Probably about 8:40. It's going to happen really soon. I'm going to be right back.
Superflow Systems is excited to introduce DispatchCenter.com, a full-service load board for brokers, shippers, carriers, and drivers, featuring integrations with Truckify mobile app and iTruckPay. Use Route Scout technology to build your routes. Maximize truck capacity. Stay loaded at the highest available revenue with the least amount of driving miles. Tell us your lanes. Loadification will alert you to new loads posting in your route. Views instant load notifications sent with Book Now features. Search and book loads directly through the Truckify mobile app. Brokers and shippers, post your loads to Dispatch Center. Give authorized carriers the opportunity to instantly book your loads. Dispatch Center powers the Truckify mobile app, allowing instant load assignment to the driver. Truckify will send inspection reports, geo-located pickup and delivery photos, BOLs, and invoices back to the broker. Brokers, shippers, carriers, and drivers, Dispatch Center, and Truckify have what you need to be more profitable every day.
Wow, thank you, Lionel. I just read your chat during the commercial break. This is the greatest pipeline of auto hauling knowledge on the web. Thank you so much, Lionel. I honestly agree. I'll tell you what I'm doing now is twice a day, Monday through Friday, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, sharing news articles. That happens twice a day. And then also I got this show every Tuesday night. And then in between working on the show, talking to people. Yeah, I honestly, that's why I say, here's the deal. Here's the reason I created Auto Transport Intel. And really what I'm doing now is, this is what I tell people at trade shows. Listen, the auto transport industry is a multi-billion-dollar marketplace. And I don't know why that, there are great trade shows, but in between, there's this lack of just ongoing knowledge, information, resource, and connection. There's all the, Facebook and social media is a great place where we're seeing conversations, but I think there's too much negativity. I think it's too one-sided in many cases, and this is an industry giant business of auto transport. It's not just carriers, it's not just brokers. We've got dealers, auctions, OEMs, etc. I haven't even talked about technology. There is so much, so thank you so much, Lionel. I really do appreciate that. Okay, speaking of, since we got to take it one piece at a time, what are we doing tonight? Tonight we are talking about, again, I'm going to pull this up here. I am driving this home. If you just joined the show, you haven't missed anything. This is Beyond the VIN with DataOne software. We're going to be bringing Mike on in about 5 minutes. What are we going to be talking about with Mike? All right, well, here's the deal. These are some PDFs from the DataOneSoftware.com website. And by the way, you want to learn more about DataOne software, you need to go to DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. Put in your information and you can talk to Mike. So this is the vehicle identification number. Everybody knows this part, right? But did you know all of the things that go into each digit in the VIN? All right, so that's where we're starting. What the VIN includes and where it is on the map, on the schematic. Okay, so then we go into, let's dive further into the details and, in each position and what it means and what's contained in there. Again, this is great information off the DataOne software website at DataOneSoftware.com. Model and year, always there. Engine, vehicle type, body style, brand, country of origin, manufacturer plant, drive type, GVW range, restraint. Okay, so those are some of the facts that are included in there. Now, how about, here's a question. Why wouldn't the VIN decode? How many times have you run into a situation where you didn't have a VIN decode? Well, why is that? All right, well, there are different reasons. Contains illegal characters. It's not long enough. Doesn't pass the checksum test. Outside of the data provider's coverage. The vehicle's not covered by your data license. The vehicle's brand new. The vehicle's too old. The VIN decode results in multiple style records, etc. So we're going to dive into some of that. Then they've got extensive white papers. Let me tell you, I have not seen anywhere where you can talk and learn about VIN numbers to this degree. Here's a white paper. Let's do another white paper. 5 best practices for storing decoded inventory data. It goes on and on. There are so many white papers on this website. You can learn about VIN data to your heart's delight. But the point of all of that data is to then take it to the store, the dealer, the provider, the automotive solution provider, to find out how to improve sales and help consumers through the life of the vehicle maintain that data so that in the future, don't you hate it when you're buying a car and you don't know, right? Well, you don't know if this thing had water damage. There's all kinds of things you can't verify. And there are companies to help verify information that you're looking for. DataOne software works with companies to help them provide solid solutions based on all of the information that is part of the life of the car, all tied to that original VIN. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, and that is why this is episode 129, Beyond the VIN with DataOne software. So I'll tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the CTS Business Coaching question of the day. All right, what is the CTS Business Coaching question of the day? You ask. All right, well, I'm going to tell you. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, if you want to learn more about DataOne software, where should you go? What are you going to type in? You're going to launch a browser, and you're going to type in... I'm going to help you. DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. You want to find out why you're going to do that? Because we're going to talk to Mike at DataOne Software. We're going to learn all about the things. There's so much information. Stick around. We're going to be right back. I'm going to bring Mike in. I promise this is going to be a great show. IATA stands for Independent Auto Transporters Alliance. Visit the website, iata.biz. The mission, driving auto transport business together. Drivers, managers, owners, carriers, networking and sharing best practices. IATA provides access to suppliers with discounts. That's right, discounts. IATA, always working to make the car shipping industry better. IATA, something we can all be proud of. If you're a carrier and you're interested in joining IATA, visit the website, iata.biz. Click on Become a Member. Follow the register and checkout process. Got questions? click Contact Us on the website. All right. Hey, welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. Perfect timing. Dude, thank you for your patience. I am only about 6 minutes late. I appreciate that. I'm really excited to have you on the show. I'm kind of, I know there's a lot of information to cover, and so do me a favor, Mike. Please introduce yourself to the Auto Transport Intel audience and what we're going to talk about tonight. Oh, wait. I messed up. I did that. I had a technical glitch. I do that all the time. Mike, do me a favor. Please say hello to the Auto Transport Intel audience and let them know what we're going to talk about tonight. That was my fault.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Mike Benavides. I'm with DataOne Software. Today, me and Jay and some other folks, we're going to be talking about the VIN and going beyond the VIN. Challenges in the space, things that things are that people are looking to solve, and that includes information that the VIN really can't tell you. But certainly, you want to understand what the VIN is, what you can decode, the difference that's out there, some of the things that are capable of. I'm sorry, I'm hearing the feedback, and it's.
Are you? You're hearing feedback? Interesting.
That,
so Dimmy, I'll tell you what. Stop watching the show, and you won't hear that. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool. And
it's hard to stop watching the show. I watch it from the beginning, and I got to watch more of them. So.
And it's interesting is that when I'm okay. So we do some prep for this show. So we talked about, hey, I want to have you on the show. Then we do a video test, and then we talk about, well, what are we going to talk about? What's it going to be like? And I try to give a lot of cues, but I think I forgot to tell you the one important piece, which when you join the show, you have to stop watching the show. And when you join the show, I got to turn your audio on. So but it's a live show and anything can happen. And people that watch the show, they know this stuff. So it's no big deal.
Well, it's great. And there's a ton more videos, and obviously, we have a lot to talk about, and I appreciate you having me on. Going beyond the VIN's important because, there are, it's the start of what's needed for so many things. I mean, today, if you can't sell it, you can't insure it, finance it, ship it, until you identify it, because there's so many things that just need to happen from identifying the vehicles. The VIN number is the best thing that we have to work with. And, there are limitations and there are some things you can get out of it. So that's definitely something that was worth exploring, and something that as we began talking in the various shows where we met, began to understand the synergies between your audience and things that they're working on and things that we're working on. And then even I had checked out one of your previous videos, and you were talking about the top, the boards and everything. And started looking up the clients and realized, wow, we're servicing a ton of this industry. There's really got to be something here for both ways. So for us to educate the community about, what we can do to help solve business challenges in this sector, and certainly for us to learn about those challenges and see if there are other things that we can invest in overcoming some of those things maybe we cannot today. But certainly there are some basic things that we're doing for a lot of companies, and we can talk about some of those. And it's an exciting topic for me, and I'm glad that that you've got an audience here that wants to explore this, and I really appreciate you having me on today.
Well, and I appreciate it too. That's what's fun is that. So the first time we talked, I think that we are a good example of what happens when you talk to people and you network. Because when we first met in July at Auto Intel Summit, it was probably just in passing. Hey, what do you do? This is what I do. And I don't think we made any kind of specific connection, right? I mean, I remembered you because then when I saw you at Used Car Week, we talked some more, and yet the spark still hadn't turned into fire, right? It wasn't until the third time we spoke, and then we started to really dive into what does each other do, and then you realized you had many auto transport companies. I'm sure you already knew that, but as you dove into researching, right? And it proves that when we research any material that we're interested in, we can see, hopefully we can find some gold as to how to build our own business. And that's what brought us here tonight. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, really, I was looking up and just amazed at all the companies that we were servicing already. And, you know, I feel like, and then just seeing the huge audience you have on the show, you know, I was thinking, okay, maybe there's something really here, because, you know, it's certainly a sector that's undergoing some rapid changes. And, you know, I even have a new client that is a digital marketing company. They provide websites and other digital marketing services for dealers. And the woman, the CEO, had shared this great idea. She was at Used Car Week and she was with a shipping company. And she had hooked up a partnership with them where they could extend an API. So anyone shopping for a car on the dealer's website could then get an instant quote on shipping it to a particular place, thereby extending the reach of where the dealer could, service customers. He could sell a car to a customer many states away, and there'd be a shipping option, so that, even a small dealership, could extend their market area and compete with some of the big ones, if they really wanted to. And that really, combined with some of the stuff that we started talking about, really had me thinking that this is a space that is undergoing tremendous change. They're going to have ongoing challenges, and I want to learn how to service them better, because obviously we've got a lot of customers, but I'm sure that there's a lot of ways that perhaps we can find to work together, to overcome some of this disruption and other challenges that are coming in the market. If nothing else, just to help companies operate more efficiently.
Well, and actually, I wonder if I know the companies that you're talking about, but that isn't the important part. What is that I think more and more we're seeing companies partnering up, not in a direct partnership, but in an affiliated way to help each other grow their businesses. And that's important as we move forward. That there's a lot of competition. So, and there are new ways of doing business. Carvana gets talked about all the time. And so to compete with something new like Carvana, or to up your game for consumers that in general just expect more. We hear digital marketing with dealerships all the time. I think that is, I don't know if it's growing, if it's changing, but it's massive and it's being talked about a lot. And also the question is, at what point does the consumer research online, go into the dealership? Do they research first, then go into the dealership? Do they go into the dealership and then buy online? And actually, I think your data probably contains some of those answers.
Well, certainly our clients utilize our data and content about the vehicles and other pieces of the shopping process to help. They build their products with that, and then they provide those to dealers. So digital retailing tools, .com portal, third-party research sites. We don't build the products that they buy. We make them better, I guess. With all apologies to BASF. That's what we do. We provide very critical ingredients because it is very difficult to maintain massive databases, especially of automotive data, which is not perfect. Decoding VINs, understanding all the changes that go through every single model, year, make, model, style, all the specifications, all the changing colors and features, because they even do change throughout the year. All of those things with, we add editorial content. We have configuration logic so people can use a configurator to build and order a car from the factory, which is, factory orderable. And there's just a massive amount of data and content that we collect and it's constantly shifting ground. So, it is certainly a challenge, but we do fill a very important niche in the industry where we can be that vehicle data platform to where no matter where you're getting data from, you're getting VINs and other inventory feeds or what have you, we can normalize those feeds. We can call everything the same year, make, model. We can link to ACEs for parts and other third-party providers to help communicate and integrate with other partners that companies have, but really to maintain that core identification system for the vehicles themselves, whether it's, to help sell them, insure them, finance them, or ship them. It's really a core function of today's automotive e-commerce and other solutions. And that's what we do, and that's our specialty. So we are very careful not to productize what we have. We rely on our partners to do that. They're the ones out there creating the really great software solutions and marketing solutions and portals and whatever else that customers and dealers and everyone interacts with. We're this little piece inside that no one knows about, and that's okay. We're really all about making our clients the heroes. They're the true innovators. We supply the ingredients, but we are not the chefs.
That's really interesting. Yeah, it must be. Sometimes maybe it's hard to explain exactly. Maybe that's why I didn't pick it up in July or even in November. Like, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but it's pretty cool. I want to ask you this because I'm gonna pull up a couple visuals here, and while I do that, I want to ask this: with all of the changes happening in automotive, with vehicles changing, electric, connected, shared, is there any talk of changing VIN numbers? Are they going to stay 17 digits? Can that change?
I suppose it's at some point we may have to, because there's going to be there already is a huge incoming flow of new vehicle types. Electrification is certainly lowering the bar for what a vehicle needs to become a consumer product in this country, and there's companies coming out of the woodwork looking to do that because it's certainly easier than the internal combustion engine, the moving parts and everything else. If they can make them cheaper, and consumers are going to buy them, more people are going to start up and start making them. And that's certainly what's happening. And as it does happen, it's going to be harder and harder to keep track and to have a lot of information contained in the VIN, do that effectively. And, there's almost 300 million vehicles on the road just in this country alone. So, there's only so much information that's contained in this string. It's 17 alphanumeric characters. They punt out a number of them because they look like numbers, and you got to be careful because you don't want to confuse people between an I and a 1, right? Or a 0 and an O. And then you have very basic things that are actually contained in this VIN, and it doesn't actually typically get you to identify what the car really is. And I'll explain. So you have this huge, right, alphanumeric number. You'd think a ton of information is encoded in that, but really it boils down to the important stuff that can be gotten out of the car is typically year, make, model, and engine. And that's about it. There's other things that, like where the plant, the restraint system, the vehicle weight range, those things are less important, at least to most people. And it's just surprising that when you decode a VIN, that you can't actually get to the trim level of a vehicle, except for maybe a third of the time. And it often takes additional information beyond just the VIN number to properly identify the trim or style level of a vehicle. That's one thing that, certainly we recognize as a challenge early on. We've obtained OEM records and other industry records, and applied other types of logic to be able to get right to the trim level for a growing number of vehicles, including Fords, Toyotas, these trucks, and even vehicles like Honda, which, they don't have optional equipment, but they have a massive number of styles, which are permutations of possible equipment. And, so to identify a vehicle all the way to the trim style level from a VIN you can't do that in more than about a third of the cases. And that's certainly what standard VIN decoders can do. You can get, you can use NHTSA's VIN decoder. There are other free VIN decoders out there, and really what they're doing is utilizing the basic principles of decoding a VIN to get you that very basic information. But that's not going to help solve a lot of problems when you need to identify the vehicle on a much more granular and precise level. You need to know the dimensions of that car, and the difference between a vehicle trim could, extend the length of the car. It could dramatically increase the weight. Certainly all the equipment on the car. There's a ton of information that doesn't get unlocked until you get to that style level. And it is really kind of an art to now, and a science to decode the VIN past the trim level, what a standard VIN decoder can do, and get you all the way to the trim level and unlock a ton of things that previously were not obtainable by just the VIN. And it's really those extended data sets in combination with an intelligent VIN decoder that can help do that and automate a lot of things that otherwise would require visual inspection or some manual intervention to put multiple things together to get a true picture of what the car is, what's on it, and what you need to know about it in order to do a specific task, depending on where you are in the industry and what you're trying to accomplish.
Wow. Okay, so there's a lot. I mean, so somewhere along the way, it was realized that, okay, so there's a level of specificity that we need to get. So we need to develop tools to get that specificity, and then we need to be able to manage that data so that at what point did you realize, who realized these things and when? Is this the inception of the company?
Well, actually, DataOne was born out of my foray with another company. So I started a data company in a division at Edmunds.com. And Edmunds.com, as everyone knows, is a very popular car buying website.
Right.
And early on in my career, I started a data company because they had wonderful data and content. And, we were licensing it across the board, across the industry. One of the companies that I came in touch with was one of my clients was DataOne Software. DataOne Software provided inventory intelligence tools and websites and other marketing services to car dealerships. And it turns out that they liked the data so much, they wanted to service certain clients of theirs in niche markets that I wasn't really prepared to enter. So they became my only authorized reseller at Edmunds. And then later on, after I left Edmunds had shut down the business because their business model shifted more toward media. Fortunately, they let go of a business that was printing money. But at the end of the day, DataOne Software became so good at licensing data and maintaining it and managing it that they were able to hire a bunch of people, build on top of what they had, keep all the data current, and then start expanding the data and content about vehicles dramatically. So, fast forward another 20 years, here I am back with DataOne Software, a company that I helped get into the data space. And now, to take the company further, it's really exciting to me, to kind of, one, be back in something that I'm really good at and I love doing. But at a company that has really taken, automotive data to another level. And in some ways is a best kept secret because they're not out there spending, tons of money and marketing themselves. And, they're always the company inside the company that has the hot solution. But, that's where we like to be. And we get to invest in new solutions for new markets, and to help our customers grow and overcome tackle issues in a variety of spaces: insurance, lending, vehicle transport, heavily so on the marketing side, for merchandising, inventory, and it amazes me how universal the need for this underlying data is across the industry. And it's really been a great ride. So that's really the circle of how DataOne software is no longer really a software company. We're a data company, but we were founded as a software company, happened to get really good at data, and now that's certainly our niche. And we do support software with intelligent APIs, but really it comes down to we supply data and content to people who build great software solutions.
Well, here's a real world application. So like when you talk about Edmunds, so when I was a dispatcher for car haulers, okay, and we were booking cars, and people are doing this right now. I mean, a guy was talking about the rates. Talk about the rates on load boards. They're booking vehicles posted to load boards. And when you're booking a vehicle on a load board, as you're booking that vehicle, need to know exactly what you're getting into. You need to know the exact length, weight, height. Those are just the basics, right? I mean, you may not need to know what type of seats are in it and etc. But you need to know anything exterior-wise about the vehicle. Especially if you're hauling enclosed, you're going to absolutely need to know every spec that you get your hands on. When I was a dispatcher, I would go to none of that information was on the load board. Load boards today are starting to contain more vehicle information. So to get vehicle information, I would go to Edmunds.com with every vehicle. I would copy and paste year, make, and model, and that way I could get as close to the dimensions as I could. But believe me, it wasn't always easy. In fact, as Edmunds turned more into content-based, I could tell that they were more interested in helping a consumer buy the car than helping me get vehicle information and dimensions. But I needed that information. And as I think about, since you have the data, if a broker or carrier, when posting a vehicle on a load board, had the VIN, without posting the VIN for public consumption, but if that VIN could be tied to all of this data, that would be helpful to a carrier booking the load. That's just one thought. And maybe that's
absolutely.
Could that be something that one of your auto transport customers is using it for?
Yes. So certainly those things that you mentioned are really the bread and butter of what they need. So certainly they need to identify the car. They want to identify it to the trim level or as far as they can possibly go, with, the proper engine and all the other pieces. But once you unlock that trim level, especially, and you can get to the model level and be okay too, but certainly helps to get specific, especially as you mentioned with some of those haulers that are inside, right? You need to know the physical dimensions of the car. Mm-hmm. How's it going to fit, right? There are logistics at play, not only for pricing these loads, but for fitting them onto these haulers. So the length, width, the weight, all those things come into effect on, how can I pack my load? How heavy is it? That affects my cost. That may affect tolls or other things along the way. These are things I'm still learning about, obviously, and why I need to tune in more to your show.
Hey, we're here. I'm learning. That we're learning together. And actually, that's why in industry news I share like people asking basic questions and then just getting whacked with, you dummy. Well, listen, man, we all have questions all the time. The day we stop asking questions, it's not a good day.
Well, it's really important, especially in my line of work. I want to learn as much as I can about someone's business and the challenges they have, because otherwise, I can't prescribe the right data and the right type of solutions, or even if I can't, make sure that they understand who else they need to talk to and make those introductions so that, they can get their problem solved. So it really takes a lot of questions to understand that. And sometimes it's going to start with the basics. Like, someone may ask me, what is a VIN number? What does it mean? We can get into all that basic stuff. But, I can also ask carriers, so, what do you need to know about a car beyond the dimensions, beyond the weight? And in fact, some of these car haulers are starting to be interested in vertical growth inside of their business, right? So
Yes.
they're looking at, they drop off the car and then they see they may be dropping it off to a company that's then photographing that car and creating all the information that goes on the window sticker and the VDP that goes to market and merchandise the car on the dealer's website. So there are even car haulers now that are looking at potentially hooking up and acquiring or partnering with companies along that value chain of delivering the car from the factory or one dealership to another or an auction to a dealer, right? And then, certainly the information about that car can carry from the carrier to the actual advertisement on the dealer's lot for that car. And, you take that information, you add some photos after you take a picture of it, and bam, you've got an extension from car hauling into the very critical piece of vehicle merchandising for a dealership. And it's all kind of part of that same delivery and exchange for when a car gets delivered to a dealership. So there are a lot of pieces in the industry that are coming together. There's disruption, but there's a lot of opportunity too. And that's what I want to make sure I get ahead of and understand, what's happening so I can affect those solutions and help, businesses grow and be more efficient.
Well, and there's no doubt, is there a lot of logistics and information that can be gleaned from a VIN. But yeah, like you're talking about, I know like on inspection software, there has been great advancements in what's happening with inspections as far as the bill of lading of a driver, the pictures and condition when it arrives at auction, when it's ready to be sold at a lot. And then all the time it takes to make sure something is front row ready. So, sometimes just having a piece of information about the vehicle, that could probably save you another day or two. We know that ultimately when the buyer buys the vehicle, they want to know as much as possible. And in today's day and age, they expect it. It's amazing what people expect to just be there and be ready. So that, yeah, I think there are a lot of companies in the attempt to get ahead of competition to be able to offer and promise that they have enough data so that the buyer just feels comfortable with the purchase sooner going with their company than with somebody else.
Sure, and a lot of customers and consumers in general, we've been we're starting to get a lot of things done for us, and there's a lot of great experiences that we're seeing with brands in the shopping process to make it easier to do stuff where I don't need to go to the store. I don't even need to try something on. There's all kinds of new technologies and new business models and ways of doing things that make it really easy for me as a consumer to buy things. And those are starting to affect the expectations of the car buyer in our space. And we're still challenged to meet those growing expectations for how easy it should be to buy a car or to service a car or to insure it or whatever else. Those expectations, that bar is always going higher. And part of that customer expectation in the process of having a good experience is transparency. And the data that we provide inside of solutions that our clients build provide that level of transparency. You mentioned even in the inspection process, if you're already taking pictures of cars, there are systems that can automatically, through machine learning, identify what the picture is, what kind of car it is, and then start auto labeling the features on the car so that when those photos, if they're used to help sell the car on the dealer's website, they're highlighting, all the autonomous features for, the safety features like autonomous braking or, xenon headlights, or all the options that are installed on this car that are worth an extra $3,000 more. There's all kinds of things inside and out of the car that are now able to be merchandised, so that customers can feel more confident about what they're buying. And a lot of that has to do with the integration of, great media and photo technologies and data. And you have inspection companies that are now armed with all of these great technological tools for, that we all have, and even in our pocket now, to take video, take pictures, make sure everything's documented for what they need to do. And then, then there's even systems that can identify damage. They can automatically assess based upon the damage and what, from just a photograph, the likely reconditioning, what needs to happen, how much it's going to cost. So when maybe the car gets delivered with a little bit of damage or whatever, the shop already knows in all likelihood what needs to be done, how long it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, so they can recon the car quickly and get it on the front line. It's amazing all the things that are starting to come together now. And it's all about data and technology, and it's quite exciting.
I can't help but say, it seems the tail is wagging the dog. So now, right, businesses are playing catch up to keep up with customer expectations, which comes from advances in other sectors of industry. But the consumer, they don't know the difference anymore. The consumer, you can get overnight shipping on headphones, so why not a car? And then a company says, yeah, you can get overnight shipping. And once that's said, okay, well, we're going to need a lot of information really fast if we're even going to be able to possibly do that. Well, I should have said this earlier. So are we saying that like a social security number, no two VINs are alike? Is that real? I mean,
not entirely.
Okay.
And that's one of the challenges that has come out of from the standardization of the VIN. There's the identification of the model year. Well, because there's been so many model years since 1981, the certain character that represents the model year can now represent more than one model year. But when it comes down to it, the uniqueness of the other digits with that one can help you narrow down. And plus, we don't see a lot of VINs from cars in the 80s anymore. Certainly in our space, people are still shipping and transporting and selling and buying newer vehicles that, are typically, 15 years and newer. I think that's going to, keep growing in age, because the quality of vehicles that are out there, they last longer and longer.
Right.
So yeah, I can see a new VIN standard evolving, and there's been talk of that, but I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, because it's difficult just to put some basic standards in place for some of the growing needs of the industry in other areas. So the establishment of vehicle standards is really a challenge. I think if there is going to be any true innovation in the identification and the tracking of vehicle information, their identity, and all the things that can happen to a car over its lifetime, that's not going to be resolved until there's a new blockchain standard in place, where we can really have a ledger that is maintained by many players in the industry that all contribute to providing the history of transactions related to a vehicle, whether it's its identification, its transport, its sale, all of those things. Really, it's going to be quite a monumental effort. And, there are some organizations looking to tackle that. But for now, the VIN is what we have as the social security number for a car, and it's not perfect. But we still can, we can glean a lot of information from it. And one of the things that's helped us and our clients is going to the manufacturers who historically have been reluctant to provide the original window sticker, often termed Monroney label information on a vehicle, the original, the way that they built the car when it left the factory. that is now the best thing that we have to identifying the vehicle and what it was built and equipped with. But even then, the record itself is not perfect because all the, customers change out a radio, change the color, add some things to the car. There's dealer accessories, aftermarket accessories. There's really quite a number of things that can change the appearance, the content, and the function of a vehicle that still aren't captured in the original record. But still, one of the most important things is if we can identify that vehicle down to the trim style level, we can unlock a tremendous amount of information that solves the most basic and pressing needs in the industry today.
You just made a thing. We're gonna bring in Mark and Brian here soon, but it's almost like what Ancestry.com? You're like the Ancestry.com of vehicles.
Well, in a way, yes, but in a lot of ways, our customers are quite good at that as well. So, for example, one of our great customers is Carfax. And they certainly would be a great example of an Ancestry because they're tracking service records, accident reports. These are things that we don't track because our customers do. They bring in other information, attach that to the information that we provide them to identify the vehicle and all the things. And then they start tracking all the things that have happened to the car. And they've turned very valuable things. Experian with AutoCheck. There's a ton of new companies out there that are looking to provide insight on the vehicles, whether it's for marketing purposes or to check and really bring together information beyond what it was when it was new, and really that's to help customers understand. Is this car that I'm buying, a good investment? And there's all kinds of content and services around the vehicle history and other services with that. And we support that, but we certainly don't productize it and bring all those pieces together that our specialty clients do.
Right. So you're not Ancestry.com, but you're the pipe. I mean, it must be to be that close to the pulse. You must be in touch with a lot of companies and right. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And it's one of the data business in the automotive industry is really in many ways a backstage pass to the industry itself, because our partners come to us with an idea, they have a business problem to solve, they share that with us so that we can give them the tools and the things that we're capable of giving them to help solve those things, and that comes with a license to be able to do it. So we're often in the know about what's coming next, the challenges that people are looking to overcome, the new solutions that are out there, people who are building the next, big .com website, or that want to compete with, the Carfaxes of the world with some other vehicle history product solution. There's all these companies out there that are building new things, and they come to us, and it's wonderful to, to be in a position to advise them confidentially. We don't share what's going on with our clients because our clients compete with each other, right? But we can advise them on what's happening in the market in general, hook them up with other strategic partnerships that they need to that they need to be successful. For example, I just brought on a big car broker, and he was looking for not only data to help customers shop for a car and transact for a car, but he was also needed shipping solutions. He's looking for someone that can provide him with an automated paperwork solution so that customers can actually, sign all the paperwork they need to for whatever dealer.
Talked about a lot right now. Yeah, F&I.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And we don't do it all, but we can certainly point them in the right directions or say, hey, I'd say, talk to Jay if you're looking for a car hauling solution so that you can get cars from the point of where you're buying them to your customers. He's going to know what you need to do. Like, I don't know that, but I know Jay knows that, and I know his community knows that, right?
Wow.
Hi guys.
Wow.
And so those are this happens all the time, and it's such a wonderfully dynamic space. and there's so many pieces to the industry. It's really exciting just to be able to be a little part of this company that creates this great new product or service. And they get really big, and I've worked with a lot of the biggest companies in the space, from Cox and Reynolds and ADP, and
Yeah.
and it's just great to see them go from working with you and having a concept for what they want to build, and that thing just becomes huge and like an ubiquitous part of the industry. And then you can help them, guide them further, and then it builds your credibility for all these new innovators coming up, wanting to build the next thing and needing to figure out where to start and who to talk to. So big and small, I love working with customers in every corner and every size.
Here's what we're going to do, man. That's unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I want to say this again, too. Listen, if you want to talk to Mike, so much information. Oh, that was not. I just posted the Zoom invite. Here, let's do this. Let's do, let me remove that, because that would be weird. Okay, so if you want to talk to Mike, go to DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Mark and Brian right after the break. And we're going to dive further into Beyond the VIN with the Data VIN panel. You're going to want to stick around. Bring your questions. Let us know how we can help. Check out DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. And we're going to be right back.
Transport Auto Quoter is by far the leading auto quoting software on the market, and the only auto quoter with a pro version that comes preset with accurate pricing for anywhere in the U.S., so you don't have to worry about it. The best part is that no change with your current software is needed. Just plug TAQ in and start booking jobs. Carriers can easily plug TAQ into their current websites and start making money right away. I bet you're wondering how we do this instantly and accurately 24/7. Well, constant analytics is the key. Our PriceWatch team is constantly monitoring current market conditions, paying close attention to seasonal and quick-moving industry changes. At the end of the day, it takes a lot of time and data to maintain good pricing, time that most of us just don't have on a daily basis. So free yourself up. Using TAQ Pro is really a no-brainer. Save time and money, maximizing your leads and optimizing your online investments. You'll finally be able to sleep well at night knowing that TAQ is on the job selling for you 24/7. Never missing a potential job.
Are you completely stressed?
Transport
Hey, welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay, your host. We have Mike from DataOne Software still with us. Oh, let me do this. Let's move a couple things off the screen here. We've got Brian joining us right now, and there's Mark too, I believe. And let's make sure. So, Mike, can you see me and hear me? Okay.
I can hear you great, Jay.
Okay, great. And Brian, welcome to the show. Can you see me and hear me? Okay. Okay, Brian is still tuning in. Mark, can you see us and hear us okay?
I am on the audio and getting the visual signed up.
You are. Okay, so we got Brian.
I'll be there in a second.
All right, you're cool. So we got Brian over here. We got Mark over here. We got Mike up in the top left corner. I am Jay, your host, here in the... I'm doing all the switching. I'm the host. I'm the founder. I'm the switcher. I do the camera and the lighting and the writing and the marketing. It's ridiculous. But I signed up for this deal. As I tell people, I used to work in Hollywood. I have a degree in marketing, and I now love what you're able to do with YouTube. It is amazing. More and more is happening on YouTube. And I'm really happy to be a trailblazer in the car shipping space. Yes, this isn't the only YouTube channel where you can find auto transport information, but I do believe that this is the only channel where you will find car shipping business information, whether it's carriers, brokers, technology, insurance, drivers, dispatchers, trucks, trailers. etc. This is where we talk about everything automotive that affects car shipping. So I want to welcome you guys back to the show, and we are continuing the conversation of we're going beyond the VIN. Oh, here, let's put up a new title: the Data of the VIN live panel. Welcome everybody. So everybody can hear each. Mike, let's get a mic check.
I can hear you just great.
Brian, Mark.
Hello. I'm on.
You're on? Brian, you're with us?
And you see me.
Yes. And I see you. And I hear you.
How about that?
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
how about that?
Technology at its best.
And I think the audience can see us and hear us, and I know they are raring to go to hear your questions for Mike. Mike took us through, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, a lot of information.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on the basics. Everyone's got different concerns and challenges and things. So every customer is a little different as to what they need. So what's really helpful for me is to learn about your business and what you guys are looking to accomplish.
Okay, so the baton has just been passed to you. What questions do you have, and what are you looking to accomplish?
That baton was like tossed on the second lap. That was boom right into it. And that was like, what do we get to ask you, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, something a couple things that I thought was pretty interesting in what he said, and kind of reinforces what Ty has said for a long time. Mike said that there's 300 million vehicles in the U.S. market. And Ty has always said, don't go after the new car market, the OEM, go after the used car market, because why? There's more vehicles to transport. So I think Mike kind of summed that up. I thought that was pretty.
And used is up.
And it's trending higher too. So, people are buying more used cars. Used cars are being easier to transact with. All the newest buying services out there are focusing on used cars. And with, some may call it a glut, but with the rising inventories of off-lease vehicles and used vehicles in general, because of their high quality, they're just a plain great value. And those transactions and the need to move them, especially as companies are realizing that they don't need to focus on even their local market. They can sell to customers outside their market, and they can have solutions to transport those cars where they need to go and still affect a great buying experience. Those are things that I think will affect the transport market tremendously going forward, even as new car shipments may be going down, because even though the SAR, I think we're around 17 million, new car sales, the retail sales are going down. It's the fleet vehicles that are making up for that. And that's one thing that often doesn't get reported, that the new vehicle retail sales are down, but used vehicles are up, and they're profitable for dealers, and people are getting really, really good at providing vehicle buying solutions for used cars to buyers. It kind of started with the eBay Motors, and people thought people are never going to buy a used car online, and here we are with Carvana's and Shifts and Vroom and all these other services that are out there providing that service, providing a great car buying experience for customers that they value. And now they become a threat. And at the same time, these are all companies that rely on moving a vehicle from one location to another, because they're not as limited as a traditional dealership may be in geography for the market that they can sell to. And that means good things for the transport industry, I'm sure.
And our customers and our technologies and the things that we're pushing forward. So I'm sure that you and I will talk, and we at one point soon we can see what the synergies are, because I know, just hearing from what you have said, and I know Brian has dove into your website, there's a lot of cool stuff. Brian has some high-tech questions. I have simple questions. Simple.
Speaking of,
I have the simple questions.
For anybody that has questions for Mike, where do they need to go? they need to go to, anybody? Bueller? DataOneSoftware.com/ATI.
Kimberly's got that.
I know.
We didn't. She's got that.
I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear a high-tech question. I really want to hear one.
Oh, so can I get my low-tech questions out of the way first?
Probably.
And then it's whatever you want to. What's you want to handle
do
first?
it.
The easy ones or the tough ones?
Yeah, no.
So I
think it's a good
just
idea.
had some curiosity, like two things that I'm curious about in VIN and accident reporting. And he mentioned that accidents, people report. They don't collect the information, but people report information like a dealership or an insurance company. If a vehicle is damaged and a local body shop fixes it, do they have an obligation to report the damage, or do they have an opportunity at no cost? How would a small body shop who's doing a job that they know maybe is a good paying job, maybe moderate damage, but still no insurance involved, how does that reporting get to the consumer on the Carfax? Or how is there some assurance that would make it there, or is it you just kind of luck of the draw on if something was repaired locally and no reporting of that?
Well, most accidents, I would venture, don't get reported, especially if there's no police report. So it's easier for companies that collect information about automobile accidents to collect that information from law enforcement agencies, but not from body shops and certainly not from insurance companies. The insurance companies are very careful about protecting the information and privacy of their customers. And they also want to avoid situation where if one of their customers, someone, damages their vehicle, let's say I get plowed in the back by someone, which happened just, fairly recently, and I had to get, my Tahoe fixed, and it required a lot of work on the back end because she was going pretty fast. But my insurance company, I'm confident, is not releasing any information regarding that accident to any reporting agency whatsoever, because that diminishes the value of my vehicle. And I, as a customer of that insurance company, would be pretty upset if, all of a sudden information about, my vehicle was then being used to diminish its future value. And if that was the case, and this is an increasing topic in that industry, that diminished value is then something that I would go to the insurance company and say, not only do you have to pay me for my injuries or for the physical damage in my car, you now also have to compensate me for the diminished value because it's been in an accident and I'm not going to get as much when I go to resell it. So there are between privacy laws and diminished value concerns, there's really pieces of the industry that are not really comfortable with releasing that information. So those that do get it typically get it from law enforcement agencies, sometimes from body shops or maybe a body shop network of some kind that in exchange for providing that information may get some free or discounted services. So it's really a hodgepodge that these companies have been working on for years in trying to gather all that information intelligence in the space, but it's certainly not coming from insurance companies, and even the body shops are reluctant to provide it. For
Actually,
that.
I wasn't aware of that. That's good information. I didn't know that. Yeah. I have one more low-tech question. One more?
Yeah,
okay.
Please. That was
Good.
Great. Yeah, I loved
it. At auto auctions, a lot of times, vehicles have been repoed. They wind up at the auto auction. There's no keys for the vehicle. Somebody comes along and looks at the VIN and decodes the VIN somehow to get a key cut. Is that information is not on the VIN necessarily? Do they take the VIN and then go back to the dealership and ask the dealership, what key do you have that fits that? Is that how they do it from the VIN, just identifying from the dealership, from the manufacturer?
If-
Chevy.
If they do
Gosh.
take that information to the dealer has special access to OEM systems that can provide very detailed information on the VIN that is not available to the public and is very tightly controlled. And certainly, being able to forge keys from a VIN is pretty, sensitive information. So yeah, there's another database that says, here's the whatever information you need to cut the proper keys for that VIN that resides at the manufacturer, that can go through a dealer to ensure and have some kind of audit trail for where that information is coming from, and for likely a legitimate purpose. So that's likely the path that's happening for someone that needs to get keys, and I don't know for sure, but it makes sense that it would go back to a dealership first.
To the manufacturer. Well, I got them warmed up for you, Jay and Brian. So like some easy ones, kind of like slow pitches.
Right. Got to warm up.
Brian can go right to the heavy stuff. Right to the heavy.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready?
All right, we're
Hey,
ready.
Okay, here we go. One of the questions in the chat was the weight for the VIN and based on trim levels. So when you look up a VIN number for the trim level, like a four-door diesel F350 four-wheel drive is not the same as a two-wheel 6.2 liter F250, so when you send back the weight, is that the trim level weight, or is that the just a generic weight?
Well, we can do a number of things. So certainly, if we can identify the vehicle at the style level, we can provide the curb weight of the vehicle. There are some vehicles, especially as you get into medium and heavy duty trucks, where we provide more the gross vehicle weight range, because there's all kinds of things typically that are added onto those trucks. And we can identify a cab, chassis, drivetrain type things. But for most vehicles in, the light duty class, where, most of the industry lives, it can vary. So if we can get to the trim level, and in many cases, we can get right to the trim level and provide you a very accurate weight. And certainly between various trims within, an F250 model line, where you have some with a regular cab all the way up to a big cab, long bed, with the big engine and everything else, those weights differ. Now, in an instance where perhaps for whatever reason we can't decode to the trim level, we do know the various weights that are available in the possible style level or trim level vehicles that the VIN could map to. So we can provide multiple values. We can provide a range of those values. But also we have an API that is intelligent enough to where if you're providing more information than just the VIN, our decoder can read that extra information and help get to that trim level. Things like OEM model code, which is something right on the door handle, a package code, a color code. These are all things that can help us nail down a particular trim between several, because when we decode a VIN and we don't necessarily know the trim level, we know it could be out of 6 styles, maybe it could be 2 or 3 of them. And oftentimes there's a little bit of extra information that can help us nail down that exact trim. But certainly, we can provide information that is common amongst those 2 or 3 vehicles, including if the weight is the same, or we can provide numerous weights between those trims so that you have a range to work with. Obviously, if we can get more specific and get to the trim level, that solves the problem right there. But even if we can't, we can give you the best answer possible.
Okay. Is that a wet weight, or you can never give the weight when the customer loads in things such as, they fill the trunk and it's got a full tank of gas and all that. So it's just an estimated weight. I can see in our industry that the weight, the width, the height, the length, and the weight are really important. But for like our Truckify app, we are going to add a scanner to the app. So you take your phone, you scan the VIN number off of the barcode, and it'll pre-populate some stuff, and will compare it to the VIN number on hand. And then it should kick back, hey, you got the wrong car. So you don't leave the auction or the dealership with the wrong car and have to go back. It's happened a few times to people, and most of the cars, I guess, on the market right now are newer than 15 years, but there are the exceptions out there. So your data only goes back to 1981. So I think people really don't need to worry about the exceptions. I mean, we've hauled stuff that was horse-drawn before, Model Ts and things before that. We hauled an ambulance that it was actually horse-drawn. So those are all exceptions. They're not the normal stuff. So like on your APIs, so if we scan it, can it pre-populate color? The year, make, model, color, is that possible? Or do you have to get that from the door codes?
No, so for a growing library of vehicles, we can decode all the way to the trim level, plus engine, transmission, and the original colors. And even in some cases, all the included optional equipment on a car. And our coverage varies by make. There's a lot of OEMs that are still releasing that information to us. In fact, in very short order, there's a very large manufacturer that is going to announce that for the first time, they're making this data available to the industry, and they've selected DataOne software to be that first distributor.
Wow.
So that people can identify the vehicles properly. And ultimately, the ecosystem that we serve is, certainly includes their dealers at the end of that value chain. And that's going to increase, sales and better the customer experience, help dealers merchandise the vehicles more effectively. But even in this case, it can help us narrow down the exact trim, the exact specifications, the weights, any equipment, certainly colors, if that's an important factor in identifying a car. So, like you could be, I need, to ship the Chevy Malibu. Well, if it's silver, you can certainly find it a lot faster and then verify that with the VIN, right? That's where you're going with the color. Yeah. So
right.
There's an increasing lineup of vehicles where we have the original color information that heavily skews toward newer vehicles. But for a number of OEMs and soon 3 more in short order, we'll be able to do that for a larger number of historical vehicles going back to the mid 2000 decade, so 2005, 2006 forward. In some cases, we'll be able to go back a little farther. It all depends on the manufacturers and how they've kept those records, and then certainly identifying with the original build record itself can always get us to the trim level. With that original Monroney label or window sticker information, we know all the dimensions, the weights, the original colors inside and out, and those are all tools that can help people. And when they're booking a car or trying to identify a car with you, they may put in a VIN number, and then we can populate at least your make, model, and engine, right? And then in a case where, for some vehicles, if we can identify to the trim level, we can tell you which potential trims are narrowed down. Some, the F-150 may have, 40 different styles to it, but that particular VIN, there could be like 2 or 3 styles that VIN could be, so that then you can ask the customer, clarify between these two and provide them a drop down so that they can properly identify the trim, or they can provide you some additional information like the OEM model code in the door or something else that can help you identify the vehicle to the trim level.
I want to say this is that I know a couple things that when there's two things I really like. If I scan a VIN with a mobile app, and I want it to be fast, and I want everything to fill in. When it doesn't happen, it's a bummer. The other thing that I really, really rely on, once I see that I can copy and paste a VIN into software and everything fills immediately, I expect that every time. And when I copy and paste a VIN and that doesn't happen, it is a bummer. So it's only through the use of some technology and finding out that some VINs are automatic and some are not, and some technologies don't work the same as others, is when you realize, you know what, there is a clear difference in this space. And that's why when we have you on the show right now, we're expecting like really good VIN decoding. I'm sure that's the case. And it's exciting to think that there aren't those times where it's not filling in and I have to be bummed out again.
Well, think how far you've come. You mentioned earlier in the show when you were going on Edmunds.com and then manually looking stuff up and transferring information. The bulk of that can be automated now. And now there's only certain circumstances where, okay, I need to have my customer reconcile between 2 or 3 trim levels, or select a color, and we provide the manufacturer's original color names and the generic color names. We provide the RGB values so they can display it with the right color as a color swatch on the screen. A lot of things to make that process for customers that are looking to do things, with a car and stemming from the VIN to make that process as smooth as possible. But it's certainly come a long way from looking up one screen to another or one source from another. And it's only going to get better. The more, especially the more that we can ingrain with the manufacturers, it can help identify vehicles more precisely. And not only in the light duty space, but we've also now introduced VIN decoding solutions for the power sports industry. So motorcycles, ATVs, trailers, towable RVs, and, as well as medium and heavy duty trucks. The more that expands, the more that, we can automate those processes and make these solutions easier, so they can spend more time, doing the business they do than the administravia of moving data and information around from one point to another.
It's totally between searching, then mistransposing. But I know that it really, a driver would love to spend less time, money, and energy on hiring car pullers and having people search for information. This is where tracking meets the data of the vehicle. But if they could get back to driving, loading, and unloading rather than searching and having somebody on the phone saying, yeah, it either way is 4,500 or 5,500, something like that.
That's right. And there's a lot of things that, as we dig into what you guys are looking to do, and I like your thinking, Brian, and understanding that customer experience of what information, how can we get that information that we need from them quickly? And then if we somehow need additional information, what can we do to make it really easy for them to provide that additional information that we need, and do that fast? And, and it's those solutions that are thinking about, even that end of the customer experience now, and whether it's working with the customer or working with someone on the other end that's providing the service. If you can make that transaction easier, you will set yourself apart from others that really haven't innovated to that level. And that's ultimately how you grow. So those little things, as we get in and learn more about each other's businesses and things of that nature, those are all things that I definitely, little tidbits that I love to share. Once I understand how people are using your service, and what we can do to deliver you the information to make that experience better for your customers.
Okay. I have more questions if you have
All
time.
right, great.
Shoot.
All right, so you have on your website, you have photos, stock images, color images, you have drawings listed. So do you have like the inspection markup diagrams for the different models?
We do not. We don't have, inspection models, repair manual information. There are other specialists in the industry that have that level of detail on a car, especially when it comes to, the parts and the maintenance and the repair, and other mechanical functions of the car. Those things that are things that we don't provide. The imagery that we do provide is more, it's usually used as a rough representation of the vehicle, especially for marketing and advertising purposes, or just to represent a car in the absence of an actual photo, that there's a stock image available. And we provide colorized stock imagery, through our partnership with a company called Evox that provides much richer libraries down to exact features and 360 tours. But as part of the data that we provide, the content that we include and can make available to includes that stock imagery, so that you can at least have a visual representation of the car in the color in which it was originally manufactured, or if someone had the original record was blue and the vehicle comes and now it's white, you can certainly represent it as a white car, but certainly anyone that's looking to inspect that vehicle now understands that the color's changed. Maybe I should take a look under, check out that frame, see if it's been in an accident. There's some reason why that car was repainted. All kinds of interesting things once you compare the original information on the vehicle when it was new against the inspection, or even for delivery or the trade-in inspection when dealers are taking in cars on trade from a consumer.
So the stock photos, when we do a VIN lookup, I get through the API, that's delivered somehow back to us. Are we able, license-wise, to include that in a email to the customer that's looking for a quote for transport? So the customer they have a 2000 Mustang. Mustang's the #1 transported car. Accord is #2.
Wow.
They've been making them forever, 64 and a half. So we get the image. Can we use that in our email campaigns?
Absolutely. Yes. So when I understand like what data you need, what you need to use it for, it includes and make sure that the license is extended out in a broad fashion to do what you need to do to make your solution effective. That includes communication emails between your customers, records that you may need to keep for legal or other purposes, advertising and marketing materials that you create to promote your own business with your customers. We want to make sure that you have a broad right to utilize the information that you need, not just in the core solution, but even to support the other areas of your business that can be leveraged in as well.
And by the way, I love your website. I love the brochures, how you've got everything broken down. I mean, it's great information.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll make sure that the team loves that kind of feedback. And I'm impressed with where this company has come and the long history that I've been affiliated with them. And it's great to be here. We've got so much more coming. It's pretty exciting. Some of which we'll be announcing at NADA, some of which will be coming in the next couple months. But really a vast increase in the types of data and the depth of data that we provide on cars, even outside of just identifying the car, really getting into, in many ways, some of the ancillary history related things. I can't go into it too much, but certainly information that is critical for operators today. Some of which is in areas that have increasing legislation. Certainly outside of PII, we don't work with personally identifiable information. But certainly just vehicle information, and it's really something that I'm really excited about going forward. Certainly in this case, I'm still fairly new to learning the nuances of the transport industry. So I can learn a lot from you guys and what you guys are looking to accomplish. I certainly need to tune into Jay a lot more in his shows, as well as I'm sure a lot of pieces of the audience that will get in touch with us and have their own unique challenges. And I look forward to learning about the nuances of the business so I can help solve some things.
Wow, there is so much information on the site. It's amazing. Good point, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been in the business for a long, long time. I think I may have locked up.
No, you're okay. We
Anybody
can
hear me?
still see you and hear you. You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my GUI's locked up.
Okay.
But we've been in the business doing transports of some sort since 1996. So I've always been looking for data sets, information, and it's always been difficult to get a complete solution. And so seeing what you're offering is very impressive. We built our own data sets over the years, trying to solve issues, and looking forward to jumping in with this.
And it's a whole nother thing then from me to tell you how great it is, than to you to actually test it yourself. So certainly yourself and anyone else that wants to inquire about more information about what we can provide, we'll set you up with a free trial so you can ping us with VINs, play around with the API, investigate the accuracy and completeness of the data that we can provide you. And that really is ultimately the test. It's one thing for me to say it's great. It's another thing for you to test and verify that it is. So we'll absolutely, set you up with, a data trial. We'll make sure that we cover all the bases that you want between data, content, or any other support you need, so that we can make sure that you've got everything that you need to evaluate and ultimately make a decision if you want to move forward and let us help you out.
Great.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. What's cool is that Mark and I, we've had several conversations. I've had Superflow. Superflow is an advertiser on Auto Transport Intel, and we've done a few shows. And I know that they really dive into their technology. One of the neat things about Superflow Systems is that they are an end-to-end car shipping software suite of products, which I know is something that you can appreciate. It's not just one piece of a solution, but from customer lead to all the way to delivered vehicle, all of the parts of software that go into that entire car shipping process. That is what Superflow Systems works on. And so it's great to have two companies on the show at the same time that are really end to end. That's awesome. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this tonight.
And I'm sure as we dig in a little more, we'll learn that, as I understand what end to end and what you guys are fulfilling, I feel like there's a big opportunity for a lot of the e-commerce providers and enablers and those companies that are facilitating, the merchandising and sale of vehicles from customers that are in a totally different location from the point of sale, and requiring that transport. Like I mentioned earlier, that there may be a dealer in Washington that can sell a car to somebody several states away, but right off the website, the customer who wants to buy on the site of the dealer can also get a quote to have their car shipped and have that all be part of the transaction and have that be seamless, so that they can buy the car and have it transported. And the companies that are providing those digital retailing solutions are probably natural partners for a company like you that can facilitate the transport piece, because they're not going to do that. And they're focused on the marketing software and the transaction process itself. But for the transport piece, that I see as a growing opportunity, for dealers and the companies that serve them with retailing solutions, is to help the customer, help the dealer extend, their customer service area and be able to sell to a broader range of customers, and for customers to be able to extend where they can buy a car. You know, I'm in Southern California. I can buy a car down the street, you know, but it'll cost me $2,000 more than if I go and buy it in Vegas or somewhere else, right? And the difference is shipping, and maybe a little bit of inconsequential time. So really expanding the borders of where transactions can happen and facilitating the solution for customers and dealers in a positive, upfront, transparent way sounds like a big opportunity.
Well, that's
the synergies. Those are the synergies he was talking about. That's exactly where we will come in, and we have tools to help some of your customers, and I can already see that there are synergies, great synergies actually, to putting your guys and our systems and tools together. We have some good products. I really am looking forward to an opportunity to show you what we have, show you what end to end really means, and be able to show you that we can back that.
Yeah,
awesome. That's exciting.
Well, I'm excited because it's cool is that for the longest time, like so many other things, I think what was happening is it got to the point where somebody needed to ship a car, and they're like, okay, so now what do? We go to the white pages, we go look for a car shipping company, and now there's a lot of these partnerships happening. And there's a lot more visibility of car shipping companies, which is what I'm trying to tell to a lot of people that so far have been, you know, fulfilling just one role. Listen, if you see the bigger picture, you'll realize that you don't have to just do that one part. You could be part of the strategy of the overall business. There's a lot more. Things are changing so fast. Yeah, I want everybody to be more than just the job you're doing.
And now there are even companies. There are even companies now that you know, that are helping dealers and other fleet owners on the remarketing side understand how to move vehicles and to, you know, markets that are going to be more profitable. So you may have you know, a large leasing company that, you know, needs to dispose of a bunch of vehicles. Well, now the intelligence is there for them to know what regions in the country where they can maximize the value and the resale value of that car.
Oh man,
and
totally.
Now you're dialing in on an automated basis the cost of transporting the car to that market to existing partners. Those ecosystems are going to drive the efficiency of the remarketing space as well, to where people can maximize the value, distribute products to where they're needed and valued the most, and everyone wins in that process. When, you know, the shippers make money, the remarketer maximizes his profit on the car, and the car gets to a market where it's otherwise, you know, in low supply, or the market dynamics value it higher for whatever reason. Those things are really starting to be developed now, especially with AI and machine learning. Outside of the science fiction of those two terms, you know, there still is some straight up analysis and tools that are helping to define and work out those logistics in an automated fashion. And that is also a potentially big opportunity for the transport industry as well.
And I'm going to jump in, and that's where, like, the Superflow Transport Auto Quoter helps you stop guessing and create the right quote instantly. That's going to cover all the costs that the carrier has, plus any additional because of everyone involved in the process. I mean, and so that's right. This gets into being able to know what it's going to cost now, so you're not guessing at your shipping or any other parameters, guessing at the weight, guessing at right.
Right.
Really, kind of the big thing on the auto quoter, as you're talking about that, Jay, is like, think about how many years ago, not every community, just large metro area to metro areas had broadband. People, it was easy to give a quote to a metro area to a metro area. People have that pretty well figured out. But we really have dove into the nitty gritty, and to be able to properly quote when it's outside of a metro area. And TAQ, I don't know if you realize it or have even if we've ever mentioned it, but TAQ is the pricing engine that drives the published rates price on 7 out of the 8 people who do not have proprietary systems on UShip. So people who are using UShip and they are getting quotes off the published rates platform, 7 out of the 8 companies that are providing quotes use Transport Auto Quoter.
Wow.
And that's exactly why we developed those companies are penalized if they decline a booking request or if they cancel. So UShip was really demanding proper pricing and stand by your price. And we worked 2 years, I think, and I don't think anybody else besides Brian, and I totally give him credit for that, he has taken what we've said and he's made the algorithms to make it price that way. Coming outside of a metro area and giving a proper price is nobody really does it as well as we do, and that's so important for our UShip customers, where that there's a penalty if they're wrong and if they decline. Transport Auto Quoter will quote exactly how you want it to quote, and it's the engine, it's the heartbeat of the start of everything. Get the right quote, get the order, make the transport, post it onto the load boards, use the Truckify app to do the inspection. That's part of Full Circle, Mike. We'll go over that a little bit more, but Transport Auto Quoter is badass, and it is, and it's big companies have tried to create an auto quoter to mimic or to be able to produce the price that TAQ does, and they can't do it. They cannot do it. And Brian is the brains behind all those very complex. I mean, if you think about all the things that make up that price and how really difficult that is when you come outside of a metro area, and to know that it's the same mileage. Los Angeles to Columbus, Ohio, Los Angeles to Chillicothe, Ohio, same mileage, exactly the same mileage, but you're not going to get a transporter to take the car to Columbus and then say, hey, I've got another one that goes to Chillicothe, and guess what? It pays the same price because it's the same mileage from Los Angeles. And if you look, that has to be $150 higher. If you don't give that carrier $150 more, he's not going to take it. So those are the things that make the auto quoter badass.
And the customer that's asking for a quote continues to ask more and more people. And when you give a quote, it's got to be fast and it's got to be good, or you're in the hole.
The other thing besides fast and good, it's we have APIs that you can put it on your website. You can make it look how you want. We do international quoting instantly. Going to any country that you want, we can put into the system. You want to transport a car to Australia, you can do that. You can get an instant price from the continental United States to Australia, to a city port in Australia. We can give you an instant price.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, it's Brian.
I didn't know it was global.
Brian.
I did not know that.
We have that technology. There's some companies that are using the auto quoter that give instant prices for international shipping.
Wow.
Accurately.
So
AJ, just
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
I've got about 2 minutes, and I have to unfortunately cut off. I got another engagement tonight.
No problem.
Well, we're just going to go to bed. It's almost
it's 11
it's
Eastern.
10 after 11 here.
So let's do this, since we got a cliffhanger, and everybody loves a good cliffhanger. I want to say this is that I appreciate everybody's time tonight, and clearly there is more to learn about DataOne software and Superflow systems. But I do want to say this is that I'm going to say it again. I think everybody here, anybody still with us, knows that I talked about DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. I highly recommend going to that link, putting in just a few pieces of information, get a hold of Mike, and find out more about all that goes into beyond the VIN. And with that, I want to thank you for your time tonight. This has been great.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
And
Jay,
you need
so
to say
much.
ATI at the end of that address, because you won't get Mike. Is that right, Jay?
That's right. So you got to go to DataOneSoftware.com/ATI. Every good domain has a /ATI at the end. Yeah, so please. But if you don't add a /ATI, you won't get Mike. And that, it'll still be great, but it won't be premium.
And Mark and Brian, gentlemen, are you guys going to NADA this week?
Not this year.
Okay.
Not this year's show. We AIS, we plan on going there.
Yeah.
NADA,
Are you going back to Auto Intel
we will
Summit,
be there.
Mike?
Yeah, I was planning on it for sure. I've been to the first two,
Great.
and I certainly don't want to miss the next one. So Auto Intel Summit is in April this year, so it's coming up very soon.
Yep.
Yep.
Me and Mark will be there.
Great conference.
And that's another thing on the NADA. You know, a lot of car shipping companies don't go to many of these trade conferences that are mainly automotive and dealer driven. That's why I make it a point to go to them on behalf of the car shipping industry. That's the point.
It's amazing the people you meet, right?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe just in the past year what I've learned. And people that started watching this channel 2 years ago, I'm sure if they tune in anymore, like, what happened? Jay used to search for cars as a dispatcher. Now I'm talking about the car shipping industry and OEMs and auctions and stuff. But that is where the meat of business happens. It is. Carriers are vital. I'm going to say it again. Carriers are vital. Without carriers, we don't have an industry. But there's more to this industry than just what happens with the trailer. And that's a tough topic, and I cover it week after week. So,
but even those big executives are there. You could run into executives from OEMs, from auctions, from major lending banks. You know, these are all people that are trying to solve these problems today. And you know, you can have drinks and run elbows and figure out. It's
amazing.
You know, it's incredible.
It is.
You know, and it all begins with getting yourself out there and putting yourself in a place to network and succeed. And those conferences are vital. It's certainly a piece of my success, in the 20 some years that I've been in this industry, and I look forward to them all the time. For meeting great people like Jay, and for setting my calendar for events like NADA, which is I'll be leaving for Las Vegas in the morning, and I'll be there for a full week.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
And certainly, when I'll make sure that I get your guys' information. I'll get you set up with a data trial. So, Brian, you can dig in, and we got a great support staff to answer all the questions that I'm not smart enough to answer on the tech side. And I certainly look forward to learning a lot more about the end-to-end solutions you guys are providing your customers.
Great.
Very good. We'll be in touch maybe after you get back.
Okay. Awesome.
We'll work that out.
Cool.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you guys so much. I bid you good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night, gentlemen.
Peace, everybody. Thank you so much. All right, and here I go. I click end the meeting, and it'll be all over. We're still connected. Oh, and here it goes. Jay's hanging up the phone. All right, so I did it. I cut the cord. Now I've got to somehow get us back on track. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I click that. And where's my properties button? This is the hardest landing. But there's nothing I can do about it right now until I come up with a better process. There we go. Now we're back. And you know what? I'm just going to jump right in. I want to thank you for watching Auto Transport Intel. It means a lot. If you're still with me now, thank you so much. That was an awesome interview and live panel. That's a lot of information. The plan will be to, when this show's over, this will finish processing on YouTube. This is a two and a quarter hour show. It'll finish processing, then it'll be live or on demand on YouTube. I got to finish the description and everything tomorrow. Plan on doing a short video edit. We'll post that as well. And then I'm also going to be, when I'm at NADA this weekend, I'm going to see Mike, And then next week, Mike is going to catch up with Mark and Brian at Superflow. If you filled out the DataOneSoftware.com/ATI form, Mike will be in touch with you at some point after the show. I really do appreciate everybody staying with us. Oh, Victor's with us. Victor's been watching. Thanks for tuning in, Victor. I really do appreciate it. Carlos, Bogey Joe Sr., Lionel, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. It means a lot. I know that, I know sometimes we just sit and listen because, right, we're being bombarded with great information and we're absorbing. And sometimes, when we're absorbing, we just take it in. So listen, whether you're listening at your computer and watching, or you're driving, or you're jogging and getting this on podcast, whatever you're doing, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate your support of Auto Transport Intel. It means a lot. I will be back next Tuesday night. Let's see, what do we got here? Of course I'll be back next Tuesday night. Let's go ahead and do this. I've got Easy Auto Ship on the show next Tuesday night. Easy Auto Ship is a broker. They're going to be talking about how they help POV, personally owned vehicle, car shipping customers. That is a tough market when you're dealing with individuals shipping one car maybe once a year, and they've got all these questions, and you got to work around their hair appointment, and then somebody's coming home from college, and the turkey's going to be ready at 2, and we want our car at 2:30, and where's the driver? He hasn't called me yet, and what's going on, and can I put luggage in the trunk? I mean, there are a lot of questions that go into POV car shipping customers. Easy Auto Ship loves that business, and they're going to talk about it. It's going to be a great show, so you aren't going to want to miss that. Listen, again, I thank you for joining me tonight. If you have a question or something to share, please send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. Don't forget to tell your friends about the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the thank you car hauler. It's coming right up. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Keep me posted of what I need to know about. If you know of a company, product, or service that needs to be on Auto Transport Intel, please let me know. If there's something at NADA I need to know about before I get there, please let me know. Yes, in April, Auto Intel Summit in Raleigh, and in May, Finished Vehicle Logistics in California. Those are 2 great shows coming up that I'm not going to miss. Stay tuned. I'll see you next Tuesday night. Thank you so much for your time, and peace out.